Yo, assalamu alaikum. Ngal be kontong jiber lalu ngal be kontong mo moy tola ni kontong la ngal be kontong. Naka jate mi la bake la faka react Barrow la masakunda dictatorial tendency safal ko dictatorship nunda men kono officially na banko kan la faka wala fanga dron ngalon ko askeno na volume be ngo volume jibe ngalon ko malon fana volume be bede arena kewa nge kontong bake. Yo, mbadingol, being alone member kekam banko kan sako bi nga funding kiel jemeni alon ko fundita prukata ka ila kontan bali aitandi. And I just want to make this clear. We are not fighting for Yaya Jammeh. Yaya Jammeh sungolamu me alon ko e bangola kodo I wala sunya. So we are not fighting for Yaya Jammeh at all. What people are fighting for wala muko ye kuol menu ke Gambia la naflota katinya fongo fensota Gambia ya jamme la masakunda kono Gambia la naflola mu amanke ya jamme bandi la nafloti Gambia masakunda la naflola so no one is here ka foko mongo we are fighting for ya jamme men nyana ka kelo ka way those are there wala mara APR sin kolti many alongo they still now ima accept komungo ya jamme atrocity so la ke bankol kan wala sabu when you see most of these people many alongo they try to bring down the sky kabring yin family wife in the fontitanang you wonder what kind of human being these people are mobo nyutala no seriously nyadile mon many alongo mol fada ya jamme wani mol fa adul mason ka fon accept adul mo kili ngula tol kana fontim bi alkal ka wuri ko ye ya jamme la family wife fon me fon yalon ke mankala fenti karakilo mbemu bankola na floti I may yang ko I personalize I katati so we are not fighting for ya jamme. But we are fighting for wala bang Adama Barrow la masakunda sun kanyol la masakunda Adama Barrow me nyaton kayakan ka bankola na flota ka bankola sore femulta ka tala nyote ma ko ninge mu manjuku majun estate la property leti wala to ninge mu bakunda property Amadou Ba wala to ninge mu ito damma la kafu femulati ngo mune sone yata for Nigeria Kebidaka protest. And we have to also remember Barola Masakunda historically ning alia jibe anytime nimmo lafta ka funtin pruka protest against bad governance against corruption imukason ka pamito diwala e kamol jale ka pamito apply on political grounds e ka pamito dilade bare ni ko be fundila pruka ka protest ka je ko monko tinyaru bankola naflo tinyama mbeke kan ala Gambia Barola Masakunda mukason ye pamito di la puri ye funding to go and protest, to go and say their mindset. Now, what is really happening? That this is the definition of Barola Masakunda because they tried everything possible about corruption or about cover up like nyaming for jandi lumena ke Barola Masakunda kono. Ni lumene botagi jamai borieta bandala but ya sai woman mokana. The world is a global village. It had a global lot of mokana. We've seen those examples and success trials. Many are okay. Recently, many Gomez la trials yet, Korea la trials yet. But look at this. In 2020, Gambians ye permito nye apply to go and protest for anti-corruption. Barrow ala polisolu, anala NPP polisolu, yo for nikel fananta ye bali permito nye na 2020. In 2022, it had a puruka permito ke kodake for anti-corruption. Yebang imasona ka pamito di wolfanan. Yebang imasona ka pamito di wolfanan. Nyamfana mo 2020 lad. Nina 2022. The same anti-corruption protest. Fondinki luke be fundla kata anti-corruption ola. Ye bali imasona ka pamito di la. 2022 fana. 2024 ye pamito apply prukata anti-corruption protest la. Barola Masakunda ye bankota ke pruka pamito dila. 2025 ning alhakulo baka nguma mefam ye pamito apply prukata ka protest against corruption rampant corruption membe ke kan Gambia Masakunda akono Barola Masakunda ye bang ka pamito dila. Now you ask yourself Barola masa kundala pat nyadi la. Corruption ye dabo jaka nyadi lan. Wala sabo, if you hear certain individuals, the so-called mouthpieces of the government, you hear them saying, ko nyim masakunda is the most transparent masakunda Gambia nanaka mesoto ila na Gambia la history yung kono. What can you say? What can you say? A country may alonko youthful ka a demand to go out and protest peacefully. Most of the times, the police will be discussing, they even made it clear to them that they are not going to use the PS systems. Ni ayata nunko wala muila deunta di komonko ninyu PS system or use. They are going to cause disturbance and distractions to business and other pedestrian movements and in transportation. You look imakala PS system of use. They just want to go and show they are concerned over the massive corruption men bekekang na system o yung kono. Equator protest la. So literally from 2020 up to 2025, Gambia funding kelo purka funding kela kontana baliai tandi sunyaro aning nafulo tinya bankola nafulo bankola sote fongo tinyaro membe ke kangalas de molla banko kang ye be balikam pamitola from 2020 up to 2025. So ni wole fundite ko they are going to do that. Ibe protest la purka woke. You arrest the youths. Mune so na yata nyimbe kono janibe funding kele mutala. Literally you are going to release them. And if I were this funding kero, ni yembola, we are going to sue them, these people to court. Because Imam Fenke, the only crime they did, their desire to put this government in line, your corruption on ya bula. Munesona yata ite listo ni ya funding because that is the only thing that nyinka men demand. Iko ye listo funding bang listo ay funti. Nyen listo ya bara saya mantra nyen listo koma. Iko ye listo funtindi. Ye listo ya funtindi bang. Say ye listo funtindi. Wala so ne yata bang fo. Nyene so ne yata bang ka funike el murake fay moto kono komongo ni ayata nko they are criminals. When we have the bigger criminals within our system, when we have the bigger criminals sitting out there in the state house. Now, these innocent youths, yes, Sika, yes, Samba, they're going to maltreat them and treat them like animals, thinking that most of them, they are going to threaten them, in a political alliance, that is how much they are going to pursue these people, to cajole them into supporting Adama Barrow's ill-will agenda against the progress of the Gambia's people. That's what they did. That's what they did to Kasongo. Kapriya Kasongo Muda, ya dewundi ya threatened ye, puru ayala political alliance ni aya switch. They succeeded in that, and this is the tactics that they are using against most of the youths in that country. We've said this before, until we realized Kajeko, Nabanko, Ning Anata Kudola, we must come together as one people, nga keloke nyokang, na political difference of bandige. Because niwo mokake, it goes to a point men ka sabuko catastrophe nying amuka muot kana mumuka tanga bala. That is why if we are electing leaders, regardless of the position, as far as it is an elected position, if we are electing leaders, we must make sure not their own interest. Wale sabu barola masakundala immorality and inkamol used to come and join them in supporting their agenda, the hidden agendas, most of which Jamabege, I believe, ikapodim Barrow noka, ikapodim Barola elected official noka, walanto ikapodim Barola candidate noka. They don't know the ill will intention Barola Masakundaka Mensato for those regions. When you look at KMC during the mayoral election, during the mayoral campaign, most of these youths, they supported Bakari Baji over Talib Bensouda. And most of them, they were sitting at the political meeting in Bakau when that tribal rhetorics was meted on Mayor Bensouda. Kafuko amanke Gambia dimoti, Sulalemu, Sulana amanke Gambia dimoti. Most of these youths, just look at them. Most of them, they were there. Wala sabunko nimbe system mo support la. Let's try na political differences When it matters the most, ngana political difference will put aside and we come together to fight for one main thing, which is the better Gambia. But they were sitting on those, political meetings. Perhaps they were even clapping. Kabirin war tribal rhetorics in Funtita to Kameo Bensudala and pedigree in Kaneng. Kadoya Gambia di wol Nyakoto. Amache Gambia di woti Sulana na Mambo Gambia. And that kind of nonsense rhetorics. Yaje Momo Kabuloko Suwala Alonko, they are nobody. They are nobody and they are nothing to be proud of. So Adam Barrow la Masakunda be funding kel subject kan yinkono. Bunyan naka Gambia di sambana na ay sabanyoka. Let's fight kajeko ka Adam Barrow la Masakunda bonding. Ni ayatra nyunko tonya be nyinko nyinkoma. Ni ayatra nyunko nying listo nyin tonya ba koma. Wallanto hanning ayatra nyunko tonya ta koma. Bari modol bige wolto be nyin listo nyimbala. They are going to sacrifice your listo nyimbani, and at the end of the day, they will try to spin the entire narrative against those people. And by that, I mean UDP. If any of the UDP executive members, that is why UDP lanyin nafo abamomo kumoto, UDP lanyin dendiko abamomo kumoto, adendiko dung bila from katambi samala, because ibeto nyala fasakang, you have people many alonko, they are very upright to the point that you will even be surprised. It wala uprightness ning ite amira development is far above that. The executives of this party, they are not greedy people. They are people, many alonko, they always foresee the future when it comes to transparency and good governance. They are very principled in that. And whereas our executives, we are more proud of these people today, tomorrow, and we are going to be proud about them even after death. Because good governance, good reputation, niya to jamano kam, ake jamano folole until dunya be bana wat homena. Wala sabong people will still be talking about Sadora Kairaba Jawara. People will still be talking about lawyer Usenu Mukunda Dabo. People will still be talking about other executives. Agiam Sek, Agiam Mundao Yabo, Ajisuka Inaka, Kemese Jame, Laminta Mundiba, Femi Peters, and the others. These are people who sacrifice every single blood in them, Kaje Komongo, to resist bad governance, to resist corruption. Fujama begin in your to the Wallakar. Fujama begin in your to the Wallakar. And you still call those people, because they were not fighting genuinely. They were not fighting genuinely. When most of those men from Alongo, they are claiming Komongo, those people didn't fight genuinely. The fathers, many Bela Suolukono, were sitting, in their comfort zones, eating their bread and butter, and today they are benefiting from the hardship. Gambia Banco can liberate from the hands of the dictatorship. Now, how dare you? They are not genuine people. Or they are 6 and 9 with NPP. They are 6 and 9 with NPP. How dare you? And yet still, Gambia. Go, let's come together and accept. Ni left like a transparent government sort of Gambia. At this point, let's come together and support UDP. Let's come together and support UDP. There we will not have a doubt. This is what they are going to do. This is what they are going to do. How many corruption scandals erupted within Barrow la Masakunda? Yet still, Alnanama UDP la mo killing at home. And these people were in government. Let's look at it. They were in government for almost 1.5 years. They were in government. But look at the same category of people, many alonko, they were in government. When they were sacked, corruption of fundita. At some point, corruption of fundita. At some point, bureaucracy will have funded again. Yes, sir. Look at UDP executives. The only thing that they can say is, that was all. And we knew now, from now, that the policies that UDP executives, Menbenu Masakunda at the time, wanted to implement a policy, is going to be quite beneficial to the Gambia as a nation. Barola Masakunda, that is going to be a distraction to their flamboyant lifestyle. Thereby, they were struggling before. Now it is time for them to enjoy. Forgetting that, few months before this time, it told a lot of podium promising Gambians of good governance, promising Gambians of reductions in the prices of basic commodities, good living condition, you know, end to dictatorship, end to corruption, and every other thing. It really not obey like you obey for your so UDP la masa kunda apurukana nyunia jelo kumunka muye ka kunti nyato puruke la baluo nyi ifongo safa nyame baluo nyi manyi puruka atinya wala sabu tantam kosulalu keta political advisors wolti. You see every Tom, Dick, and Harry became a political advisors or a political appointee or a minister. You cannot put square pegs in a round hole and you expect them to deliver. Yesterday, wala sabu ngafo Professor Lumumba ningali ajibe pan Africans. Akamemfo. Ako all the monkeys in the forest will remain the same. A forest can change. Forest fonko nanyi forest ka falinde. Ni sanyi lulo kono kase dibi sanyi lulo beje kase fenka dimbala bo kambala and other how to call it climate changes effects. But sulo men be forest nyin kono. Wol musulo dam malet. Sulo musulo dam malet. This is the same thing. This is the same thing. Membe ke Madam Barrow la masakunda. The same people recycling them over and over, even when they've been found wanting for massive corruption in the country. Yet still, you recycle them because of political interest, because of a political desire and ambition. Disregarding every single progressive hope, Banko be mensotola niye appointment based on credibilities and based on technical know-how. And this is one thing, it's really going to be very, very different in UDP La Masakunda. I believe that. I believe that UDP La Masakunda is not going to entertain these kind of things. Most of the people, people like Fabu Sane, abeno UDP la, akada UDP ya, but other UDP ya no bagano. But Fabu jibe, I won't qualification the sort of. Fabu wanted to become a minister, or he wanted to become an ambassador somewhere else. Dabo e muna foye, altali alfang upgrade do mandenge fujaning system obebela. My muna sisa Dabo and the others. And they took this as an insult. Ko, it will batame beke UDP. It will yamera nung komunko, it will batame beke UDP. Dabo will just come and compensate them at the detriment of the national interest, at the detriment of the national progress, development. Dabo will take that risk. We don't have Nyatongo besiare banko kan, but Nyatongo la Nyatonga benyo nyakonol. Dabo foresees these kinds of things because good governance wole mala every single day mantra. That is his mantra. Good governance, transparency, wole mala mantra. So he sees these things and he knows that this cannot happen because Ning Ayake is going to be against the very value that he's been fighting for over 3 decades. That's going to be against his personality. At the end of the day, what is going to happen? When those appointments will fall out, what are some of the things that are going to be said against this man? But that is why I'm not talking about. But now, NPP ke la fanya afofo. Amadou Sane, I don't even want to go there because this is so laughable. Like MPP la frake la komo mabo, imale be komo mabo na nyame. Iko Amadou Sane homoyi, ya jam la homala what we wala sam. Ya jam Amadou Sane la homa kabin 2011, otumo ya jam bata nimfula. Amadou Sane la homa babu local desan. When you molu malote malon fenti, malo ni muhadamadi masato, ila balu man nafasato. We've had Honorable Sane, and I will bring him here these days, either tomorrow or next tomorrow. You're going to hear everything. But Albaro na kunyungu to nyata koma. Mol menyalo ko yuko funtile no. Itole ko kakelo ke ya jame. Ko ba ndo mandra ke ya jame. Han nyi foni kelmen fondi sanande. They are not fighting for ya jame. What they are fighting for is the Gambia, the future of this country, to make an end to corruption, to make an end to the government to be covering up corrupt practices and corruptions in that country. If we don't mal, but more many are fundita no. Iko ya jamela property. Masakundae wafinde. They protested. That is APRC headed by Fabaka Tomunjara Ying killing womo mununja member siring malo for South Africa lombangu duomo da sunkaneo and in other APRC Chihuahua and the others. Muna sabubi mamfuti. albalo ne ko mo ñun la kelo ku to nyata koma ñing executive o ñi FPRC la ñi executive o ini Adama Barrow la ñi ni aje be diarinteng isonta nyoma itanota ibeji ka killing 6 and 9. Why did you think that FPRC call Mamfunting fabaga to monjara na lamoro I Mamfunting many acclaim ko itolu jamela na balia jam womu falet ni jamela na airport or momo ya arrest wolmo Gambia be farala fulalati na bere ye wala lafo mune asabun ke Mamfunting kara protest against ñing fengol men yalon ko they claim to be so-called Jamela assets or ye wife nyamen muna asamu ke mon futin kara woldol protest Duduja and the others. Why do you think they are sitting down comfortably? They don't dare kataka funding ka protest. You know why? Because imalla alala imalla ikamem preach because tonyante ikamem preach ike mabo darafano le koma ike diamo memfonye is not true. It doesn't mean anything. Because if they dare kafunding karaka protest ikadomoro mensato on a silver plate will be done now. When people don't want to suffer, when people don't want to struggle, you will end up being a liar. You will end up being a slave. You will end up being a slave continuously. So Fabaka Tombunjara, Rambo Jara, Dudu Jazz, Sidin Jais, and the others, they are not there Kafunting Karaka protest because they are not there to go and protest against their dummy god, Adama Barrow. They are not there to go and protest against Adama Barrow Lamasakunda for mismanaging the assets of their former demigod. Imagine baby dending. Nenye mulatinum hani UDP ka click. Ne wala to fata ye. Ye press release over from APRC la fawaga to Manjata section. Press release over from UDP from JNP la section. But for Nikili mu crime like ko ye listo bondi. Alka for Nikil mu dalkes kalkesoro. E call ye listo bondi. Bring out that list. Because according to what we heard, so many of these ministers, so many of Adama Barrow relatives, Adama Barrow himself is part and parcel of this entire scam. At Adama Barrow from Kumo, he is part of it. So imalafi molie Adama Barrow la property soul I menuta ya jamela property soul kono pour molie will locate no pour molie will identify no kumungo. These are the properties many alongo they now belong to Adama Barrow and they were the properties of the former president before I mentioned Gambia bulokono say Adama Barrow fanaya sunya Gambia le bulokono Adama Barrow le tamu property design. That is the fear. So the fear is ni minister kari ya jamela property ye woleta ya dila. And do you know what? Most of these properties here, wafim menayalon, dalasi dantang, dalasi willy dantang, Adama Barrow wala mafongola. Dolbe fong be probably Adama Barrow yetale for free, ye diala. But I've funding na bandala. But lefaka damanto for Gambia de mole. Lefaka ngina ka damanto. Mone asabong atolia mira. More men claim to coitel they own APRC. Yahya Jammeh is their demigod. He's their leader for life. Whatever belongs to Yahya Jammeh is going to be protected. Munea sabon bi imam futinka protest. Kaje komungo to demand an answer from Barrow corrupt, the most dysfunctional administration. Ye nyibagasol ye wafi nyame munea sabu ye tala nyote makomungo susu. Muna sabung imam funting ka protest ka demand. Namre protest dela kija fulasa banyo yo kija na kodi ya jambla tani bitem. Muna sabung alia mira imam funting ka protest to demand for an answer from the government on the sales, on the illegal sales of Jamela properties I may acquire illegally from the Gambian population. Muna sabung imam funting ka protest fabaga to munjaras the Sidin Jais and the others. Why do you think they are silent? Why? I will tell you the answer. Olo nyentiko, nyulu kan memfo. Nyulu, kaneti la nyikeba ya lale. Eka fongo amanke ko eka wole min. Faba gato monjara, wala balwa mo bala faleti. Billahi. wallahi jinato you labal wo mu balafaleti you look at me funye wo mantara caring. So free the youths. IGP, what is the son name again? The NPP la police IGP. I can't do fa. I can't do fa. I mark bang NPP la police IGP. Is it Toure? IGP Toure. CD Toure. Release this funding kiolo. Nyim funding kiolo bra. CD Toure. Nyim funding kiolo bra. Nyim funding kiolo bra. Release these people. In life, Gambians thought the police force have changed. But little did we realize that we have another politicized police force, an NPP police force, hiding behind the Gambia flag. Well, Asabo, they have NPP women's wing within the Gambia police force. Many along ika president bid at the State House, kela allegiance ning ka declare to him during the political gatherings. NPP Women's Police Wing. This is a shame. But Niba was shameful. You look at the IGP himself. Wala sabi ka foko mungo nibe appointment okela. You don't just appoint people based on your family ties with them. Niyake all the times, you have this conflict of interest. And now it becomes catastrophic. IGP Toure, eko Adama Barrow in Lola Mati. But look at what happened. So we expect this guy to value his position than to preach good governance. And that's what exactly he's doing for Adama Barrow. That's why he's been appointed as the NPP's IGP. Because he's serving NPP, he's not serving the Gambians. Because no one day, with all the ups and downs, with all the negative crimes, reportings, instead of focus on things like that, in fact, I think what these youths are doing, because they want the government to release these youths, so that the police, at least they will have somewhere to start from. Nila investigation, why don't you see that if they were transparent and independent police force? But ni beto lofola, yeta na para kundado. Amanke paral beti de. Amanke paral beti. But na para kundado. Ntenga mira Gambia la mol meni alonko ikumuti nyata mo beti. Funninkel meni alonko ikumuti nyata mo beti hametela. Wollel jamabe sirin ye fay nyokan na para kundado. The molka alia karang altesonna. Tumando karang kafuko ibitala karang la make ni duke kara mecho man karang dia ku yenya nakara si official kono ye kamo city. But the molka alia kalam altesonna. Altesonna hanal faso miro almuka keno. Wala sabu ni kalia ko kilos ka yafai ni nang kartige. You cannot even use your common sense to evaluate. Ikamem for it mune mala disadvantage. You cannot even use your common sense to judge. Imkela common source from use no ka judge. Na para kundato, who para uniform is going to be remembered in the Gambia forever. On ika jawya mela Gambia di ngoloka. Eko ye listo bondi. Wala so ne yata bang. Listo me alon ka abege. Records are there. Alkamani batung alman records ni mfuntindi. What are you waiting for? Bring out the records. Alia funding kele bra. Alia claim ko. You cannot protest. Nibe PS system or use in public without a permit. Yep, permit on your request albulokono from 2020. 2020 there were 2 applications made along Kaketa funding kele bulokono to go and protest against corruption in the country. Ya be denied. 2022, 2023, and 1 permit in 2025. Ya better deny all the protest permit application or Yemenke against Barola Mansa Kundala corruption benyalonge kafunting scandal so men kafunting a permit all ya better deny from IGP for IGP do you remember what is his name again? IGP, what is his name again? Sanyang, IGP Sanyang. And then IGP Toure. Akede bela tenyolo kono. So they are no different. They are 6 and 9. Wale asabong. Most of them, they will need you Gambians tomorrow. Billahi, they will need you tomorrow. Because nibada active police duties, most of them, ikalafika international appointment or let's They want to, go in for international appointments. And they need Gambia for that. Ye Gambia banko need walale. Ye Gambia la support you need to back them up. Porque la reputation will better. But when you have no reputation to be proud about, what do you expect from the Gambians? This is what happened to Dr. Tangara. Tangara Kabringa Pareda war international appointment. Look at what happened. 99% of Gambians were against his nomination. 99% of Gambians were exposing his dirty parts. The dirty parts I mean play for Yaya Jammeh during his term in office. During his term in office under Adama Barrow, all the dirty parts I mean play were all come to light. And now our opponents all were using those things. Obviously, the selection panel also are following every single thing what's happening in the Gambia, especially, following the Gambian platforms, the bigger platforms and other social media handles. They follow them up. They follow them up to know who this guy is. So, wala sabon Tangara couldn't go anywhere. The same is going to happen to most of these people. They will need the Gambia at some point. They are untouchable. It's because of the circles of power. What be feñola? So, they left for Purkana Kakacha, Kadomanige, Mekacha Ambada and the Janato Kadam Fosita Minal Kadam Fijivela. Bari. Let's come together. Let's come together. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Alabarkabage, ngamol be kontong jibir lalu ngal be kontong kyo. Binala jan sama wala sinindi alsonda be interview dole organize kam. Binala jan ning aboda alabala ngana interview nyong conduct. Abe dending nyong kuwala. So we will have to put pressure on this corrupt administration. Because they are not shame. Kafoko sunyaro walanto tinyaro walanto nyimmalu sifa nyimuye feneti wala sabu ni sunyaro fundita damento na institution o menna drum ise murota wale dimbata ya malage ye evidence o bejani ya kaito bejani. That's what Barrow administration o kamenke. Ning corruption o fundinta. What documentation is required. They go to they rush to the ministry and they burn down all the evidence, all the papers, all the records. And sadly, this is the government, they appointed a digital, how do they call it? Like, is it a digital minister or something? You appointed like a minister responsible for digital matters, and I don't know what kind of nonsense acronyms they give. But it's the same country, they cannot even, make their own ID cards. It is the same country, who cannot even produce our own passport, our own ID cards. That is Gambia. Halina ID card, but look at the flamboyancy, look at the massive corruption every single day. This could be a good start to put Gambia on track. Digitalization and other stuffs. Nobody is asking Kafokomongo everything comes to be perfection at once. No, that's not what we are asking for. Let's have a foundation. Let's start from somewhere. Bari alabarkabake ngal be kontong ngal tentu alabarkabake ala jiberola aja jobate lamin konte ngal kontong OUR marong ngi kontong lamin Jallo Ibrahima Danso alaji Kamara ngal be kontong kew ngal be kontong bamba kasama ngi kontong awa jobate ngal be kontong bake Isha Dabo Isa e mo folom to nyadi ngi kontong ngal kontong bake esa e sisi ngal kontong jara kujabi ngal be kontong Mariama Sise ngal be kontong ngal be kontong bage Muhammad Mudo sinyare ngo mbari ngi benyadi bari mfama diralde yes nge kontong bage Seku Jammeh ngal be kontong keo Aida Sise nge kontong bage Kumba Mane ala baraka Tamsir Gassama, Suleiman Fofana, Adafatu Sose, nge kontom bake. Ngal be kontom keo, ngal be kontom, you know. Probably the mobile to from Jello no board can be nge kontom bake, nge kontom matakora, nge kontom bake awa bully Sambasane, nge kontom bake, nge fanon kontom awa sar Amadou Jawara, ngal be kontom keo Ramatulai Toure, Lamin Dabo, Toure Sajo, Tayyib Sao, ngal be konton kew ajisane, la baraka thank you Abdou Sawane. Kewa wa wenyadi, go nge konton bake no. Lamin Jaju si nge konton bake, Ramatulai Toure, ngal be konton Aliou Cissé, ala baraka bake, thank you all. Ala baraka bake, Buba Kamara, ngal be konton kew Janko Conte, nge fanan konton bake, Janko Amadou Kante, nge fanan konton bake. Fatumata nge konton bake Blenda Cissé, thank you ala baraka ngal be konton Idrissa Kante nge konton Lamen Cissé ngal be konton Haji Amon Daw Jeyabo nge konton bake Honorable Yabo nge konton bake baraka nyendal bankola bamati che kwa bara nge konton mbade meto fon pronounce not Amadi UDP Demba. Moro ila nyito nyata man. Abaraka bake nge konto, you know. Nka nge konto bake kewa sawale. Kewa nge konto ngo. Na programa wanya na kelate nyintalato ning alasonta ning abetal lajang. Lamen sande nge konto. Ibrahima Tambaja nge konto Suwandi Danso nge konto mbadi nge benyadi. Lamen Kamara. Yes, albe konto Jibril Toure. Nge kontong Aisha Khadija, nge kontong Bake Fode Toure, Omar Koli, Lamin Tunkara, Toda Lamin Benyadi, Lamin K Toure, nge be kontong Ibrahim Cham, Barrow Buba, nge kontong Bas Drame, Bibsen Njay, nge kontong Alaji Jara, Kadisab, nge kontong Binta Sanyang, Fadera Omar, Rohim Manjang, Mariama Sanyang, Barrow Buba, Omar Sise, Kobin Lex, nge kontong Famara Sanyang, Kadisab, Binta Sanyang, Amadou Kante, ngal be kontong Edni Saujo nge kontong sisla wenyadi nge kontong bake no mbero kuman la dumala alkal konte nge kontong alkal konte jumal kilam no I think it's wrong alkal konte profile picture de ale katara wala barona anala nyi menesa nyi desol kon e ka Facebook live o bele jibe ka jibe molie munalong how much do we know katara wala fagaga molie jelle long yonte mo barakamati balamen gasama nge kontom bake you know sise konte nge kontom yes okay so ala baraka bake man thank you so much man thank you ala baraka bake until tomorrow probably ngafanya membatra kana pruka interview do organize jam so most likely ning work confirmed I will definitely come here albajala like the big surprise albajala so we will get to discuss a lot of things. Thank you. Sisa jare, ngo ngabe ko malo. Berapa kaki kon.